All right, welcome back to the channel. And I am so excited to be talking to you today about the new FX series called The Veil. The first two episodes are up right now, so you can go check them out. I will be sharing some spoilers from here on out. So if you haven't watched, then this is your warning. Now, this series stars Elizabeth Moss, who I absolutely love. She is a phenomenal actress. I've thoroughly enjoyed her work in The Handmaid's Tale. As soon as I saw that she was attached to this project, I was just like, yeah, I'm going to go watch this because I love her. And I don't know when we're going to get the last season of The Handmaid's Tale. Probably not anytime soon. I would guess maybe next year, late next year, because they haven't even filmed it yet. So I was like, yeah, I kind of miss seeing her on screen. So I'm gonna check this one out. And it is a stunner. It's a spy thriller. It's fascinating. It's gripping. There is this interesting cat and mouse game that is happening. So the show follows the relationship between two women playing a deadly game of truth and lies. One woman has a secret and the other has a mission to reveal it before thousands of lives are lost. So we have Elizabeth Moss, who plays an MI6 agent, Imagin Salter. She is cool. She has this like ability to assume a new identity at a drop of a hat. I love the dynamic between her and Adila, who is played by Yumna Marwan. Amazing, stunning, just captivating on screen. I have to see what else she has been on. I'm not sure I even know, but I'm intrigued nonetheless. And she's outstanding in this. And we see Adila like she's in this refugee camp. We see a food truck and it's in the wrong drop point, apparently within the refugee camp. And all the refugees kind of instantly grab the food. And one lady helped distribute food, and another lady spots her and points at her and tells her she's ISIS. That is Adila. So she is being accused of being a leader with ISIS. And she starts to get attacked by the crowd. Luckily, she gets out of that. And then we get Imagin, who kind of comes in as her extractor, trying to get information from this accused ISIS leader. She's cunning. She's cunning. And so we see this kind of going back and forth dialogue between these two. And in that, we get pieces of truth, but also riddled and threaded with a lot of lies. And so it's hard to kind of decipher what's true and what's not, which I find it very fun, obviously, in a spy thriller. First episode, we get Imogen getting her out of this refugee camp and into a car, and they start driving towards Turkey. And by the time she gets to a point where she gets to decide whether or not she drops her off in another camp or she kind of goes along with what Adila wants to do, which is try to figure out why she got herself in the situation that she's in the first place, Imogen decides to go towards Istanbul. And so that's how that whole exchange between these two characters in the first episode kind of ends. We get to learn a little bit about both characters. Adila is a mom, she has a daughter, and her daughter's in France, in Paris, and they wanted to confirm that she even had a daughter. And so they did. And MI6 is basically calling off the operation because they think that she's not who they say she is. And of course, our spy is saying, I don't actually believe that. I think she is a leader with ISIS and I'm going to prove it. And so we start getting into that with the story. And so it's very fascinating. Obviously, Imogene has a handler and is played by Dali Ben Salah. His name is Malik, and he and a US liaison comes into the picture, played by Josh Charles. Max Peterson is his name. And he comes into the picture. And of course, the US is wanting information about this Adila and what her deal is. And in the first episode, we're seeing that the US is trying to gather DNA to identify her, to confirm that she does indeed have a daughter. We see a scene in episode 2 where the daughter is being abducted and then minutes later is released. And she's telling her aunt that they cut a piece of her hair off, which instantly told me that they're trying to confirm she indeed does have a daughter, and it's confirmed. And that's when MI6 basically calls the operation off and just says, you guys can fly back to Paris or whatever. And so, but obviously Imogen is like, yeah, no, I don't believe that. So that's where we end up towards the end of the episode 2. And the themes that I instantly picked up were just the shapeshifter, which is interesting because that's what these two women feel like to me. They're both playing games, and obviously Imaging is trying to appeal to Adila's humanity and trying to kind of unearth that in her so that she can divulge information about an imminent attack that is to come within 7 to 10 days. So time is not on their side. And so she is very hell bent in trying to figure out who the target is, when the attack is going to happen. And this is the only lead that they have. We do see at the end of episode 2, there was a scene where they were at a library, and we see a man kind of go into the same library towards the end of episode 2, and he looks in a book and he finds a little map. And so that to me is indication of confirmation that Adila is indeed ISIS and is working with the enemy. And I think Imogen knows that, and she is just determined to trying to figure out a way to break into Adila's heart and appeal to her humanity in this situation. And so I loved it. I enjoy spy thrillers very much. There was a lot of tension in the episode, mainly because of the dialogue and just trying to figure out who's lying, who's not lying. We get glimpses of flashbacks of Imogen's life. The question that we hear often throughout these first 2 episodes is, who are you? That is a question that I feel like is the overarching theme of this show, is identity. Who are you? It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. The pacing is great. I have no complaints about the pacing. It's not too fast and not too slow. It's just perfect. And we're getting little bits and pieces of who these two women are. So yeah, it's a great show. I'll be here next week giving you a little rundown of this show and my thoughts. And I think it's a great series already. The soundtrack is amazing. When you start off with a banger like Teardrop, it definitely catches my attention. And at the end of episode 2, we end with Speak Loud by Thrills. Freaking 100%. Awesome. I loved it. And yeah, I'm excited for what else these next 4 episodes will give us. That is my recap and review of The Veil, now streaming on Hulu. New episodes will be dropped weekly on Tuesdays. So check it out, and we'll talk to you later.